welcome to Good Follow, presented by DraftKings. That's my girl, Logan Hackett, shimmying her shoulders. And I'm Ros Logan. We are your hosts of this show. Logan, it's great to see you. How you doing, love?
It's amazing to see you as well. I love your hair today, but I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I actually, we love a gift. And our favorite presenters and sponsors, DraftKings, they sent some wine tumblers.
I
Love.
love that. I actually
Absolutely
have a package
love it.
downstairs that says Tumblr on it, and I was wondering who it came from, and I'm almost confident that that's it.
You should bring yours next time. But of course, we are not drinking wine on the job, guys. Even though it's a wine tumbler, like mine is filled with orange juice, naturally. But moving on to today's show, we have a wonderful show that you can absolutely sip to your morning cup of coffee or your evening glass of wine or that bottle of water. But we got a lot for you, okay? Stay hydrated, friends. It's been a wild week in the WNBA. Wigs, dildos, and catching cases. Do not count out the Indiana Fever. They are hot, hot, hot. And Dijonai Carrington is heading to the Lynx. How does she help this already stacked team?
And don't forget, y'all can catch new episodes not once, but twice a week, one on Tuesday and one on Thursday. And as always, thank y'all so much for all of the love, subscribing, commenting, liking, following our socials, and even sharing them with your friends. But Roz, are you ready to get into the show?
Logan, take us there.
Let's do it. So, as you said, it was a very interesting week in the WNBA. We saw a fan get ejected for making fun of Kalia Copper, having her wig pulled off mid-game. Another fan was arrested and now faces multiple charges for throwing a green dildo onto the court in the Atlanta versus Valkyries game. And then this happened another time during the Chicago and Valkyries game. I want to say there was a third, but I'm not confident. I feel like it was AI or something. But speaking of AI videos were spreading of Angel Reese spreading misinformation. And the list honestly goes on and on and on. But it seems like the plot has been lost in the WNBA, and each week it continues to get worse. Faraz, what do you make of all of this and everything that's going on?
Yeah, that's a lot coming our way and to have to digest. And for me, when I saw the first green dildo be thrown on the court, my first reaction, I was like a lot of the public, that it was kind of funny a little bit, only because it was just so shocking and unexpected and ironic. And, I saw some of the players themselves cracking jokes, and there were different memes that came down our timelines, and, I chuckled at them. But when a second green dildo was thrown at the court during a WNBA game, I didn't find it funny at all. I didn't like it at all. And I already know that there's going to be people who are listening to me that are going to be saying, oh my God, you're taking things too serious. But I feel I'm entitled to this opinion, and I have, let me say my piece. First of all, at a sporting event, like anytime that you throw something on the court or the field, you endanger the athletes. And full stop, that's never appropriate or okay. It's a major misdemeanor and offense that should be taken seriously. And a lot of players, including Isabel Harrison, Sophie Cunningham, they took to the public, to Twitter, to social media to be like, guys, it's not funny. You could hurt us. And player safety, first and foremost, is most important. And then I thought about it from a metaphorical level. Like, do you think someone throwing a dildo on the court of a WNBA basketball game is doing this to celebrate the players? Do you think that this is the actions of someone who respects what these women are doing on the court? It's literally a green phallic symbol. Like, literally, I can't think of more literal interpretations of misogyny than throwing a penis at women at work. You threw a dildo at women who are role models, who are going hard at their craft. And it's not lost on me, thank you. It's not lost on me that this is happening during a time where these WNBA players are in a very public battle for pay equity, better wages, and obviously a more favorable CBA. I'm going to take it a step further. I think it's in line with a growing number of misinformation memes that are being circulated. Logan, you talked about it. There was a meme recently about WNBA players want to be paid the same as NBA players. That's not true. And it's very harmful. There was a meme misinformation meme, being circulated about Angel Reese's talking about her payment. And these memes are coming from accounts that have huge followings. And a lot of those followers are not going to do the homework, and they're going to take it as fact. And during a time when like workers are fighting for workers' rights, this misinformation is really dangerous and harmful and not cool. And I think overall, there's just been like a pattern of mocking and being disrespectful to these WNBA players. And so the 23-year-old who threw the green dildo on the court, and now the reports are coming out that he's been arrested. He even has like sexual misdemeanor, crimes on his record now because of this. Unfortunately, because I think this misogyny and disrespect is so prevalent, he thought he was doing this to make a joke and that it would go viral. That's what he said. But because this type of behavior is so prevalent, he never thought this is probably not a good idea. Instead, he thought he could play in the faces of these hardworking women for some stupid clout. And ultimately, I feel like you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is.
Honestly, I have no notes on what you just said. The most surprising part, honestly, was that it was a man, and I feel like that made the whole situation so much worse. And honestly, went with every single point that you were saying. If it was a woman, I feel like the state of the WNBA, not that you would give them more grace, it would be a completely different situation. But men with the WNBA, especially in our society, it's insane. It is terrifying. And they have no morals. They have no rights. They have no thought process with what they're doing. And it's making everything so incredibly dangerous. But with the charges that they picked up, at first you might look at them and say, oh, this is a little bit serious, but you have to stand on business with something like that because it happened another time. I'm sure that person is cowering in their basement, hoping that they don't get charged, but you also have to stop it from happening again.
Yeah, I almost think you got to make an example. It can't be normalized, this type of behavior. Like, the jokes ain't worth it. The likes, the clout on the backs of women that are working hard. And I can't stress enough. I think a lot of this energy is coming during a time where they're publicly fighting for something really important. They're workers fighting for workers' rights and women that are doing it. And the overall energy and attitude is one of mocking them. And so, like, that creates situations like this where a young man doesn't realize that this behavior is absolutely inappropriate. He thinks he can go viral off of some dumb jokes with a green dildo. And now you got arrested.
So I actually want to do a full 180 and talk about the play and the W now, starting with the Indiana Fever, who have had their ups and downs this season. And Caitlin Clark might still be out, but with the win over Seattle, that puts the Fever on a 5-game win streak and winning 8 of their past 10 games. Now with this, they are now in 5th place and right on the edge of the playoff bubble. But are the Fever heating up at the right time?
Yeah, they're definitely heating up at the right time. I think the most important thing that I could say about the Indiana Fever right now is, boy, they have shown me that they are tough. This is a resilient team. They have made lemonade out of lemons. They had early season injuries. Obviously, their big name superstar kind of players, Caitlin Clark, has missed more than half the season. Even the coach has missed time. Huge deal. A marquee free agent signing. DeWanna Bonner doesn't play a lot of the games and then departs. And regardless of how much you love and respect DeWanna Bonner, that could throw a franchise back at least a season. There's a lot that goes into planning around this player. And instead, they've adjusted under pressure and bright lights. And literally there was fighting on the courts. Like, you kind of felt like things were in disarray for the Fever. And instead, here we are outside of the All-Star break now, looking at the playoff push. And they're sitting at 5th. They're in the thick of it. And when I say the thick of it, like, a couple of losses from those teams up top, a couple of wins from the Fever, they could slide to as high as 2 in the standings. And so this is a team that's just tough. Kelsey Mitchell is leading the way, just in one of the best scorers in the league right now, full stop. Dynamic, so fast, everywhere she's a threat. Then you've got Aaliyah Boston, who I'm really impressed with just her growth. She is a multi-dimensional threat. Offense, defense. You look at her stat line, it's blocks, it's steals, it's rebounds. And then we were told she was going to be leaned on to facilitate more. But boy, with Caitlin Clark out, she's been doing a lot of great things with the assist and passing. And it absolutely feels like Sophie Cunningham, Natasha Howard, these were some of the other free agents that came in. And there was, a little bit of ups and downs with it. feels like they completely like understand what their role is with this team. And Ari McDonald. So you talk about, look, the DeWanna Bonner thing didn't work out, but Ari McDonald turned out to be a revelation and actually what the Fever needed. And in this win streak, at the time of recording this, they've won 5 in a row. They're one of the hottest teams in the league. Out of the last 10, I think they won 8 or something. Like, they're hot, hot, hot. They're playing better defense. And I always like, when you have players with high motor, you look at Ari McDonald. You look at Sophie Cunningham. You look at Lexi Hull. All of them can really change a game with their defensive intensity. So there's something to be said about a team maybe that's been trauma bonded. It's been a turbulent season, to say the least, for them, and they didn't separate. They stayed together, and in fact, in some ways, like, that unit without Caitlin got a lot stronger. And you'd have to imagine that if Caitlin came back, this team would be even more scary. But even without Caitlin, you can't count the Fever out. I think they are a very, very tough team.
Absolutely. You have 5 starters who are all capable of playing extremely well, but the depth on their bench is insane. And to go with that, your defense comment, did you know in the past 10 games, they are leading the league with averaging just over 19 points off of turnovers? Like, they're incredibly disruptive, and it's all starting to work out. I also think when you have such a unit that runs around pace and tempo with someone like Caitlin Clark and you take her out of it, of course it's going to take a while to have to gel everyone together. And as you said, there were other injuries. There was no really point of consistency. So now that they have one, it's all starting to come together. And as you said, it is getting scary.
Yeah, there's almost like a sense of, we know who we got. We know who wants to be here. We know who we are now, and we can proceed and move forward.
Absolutely. And actually, speaking of doing well and tanking, over the weekend, Dallas traded Dijonai Carrington to the Minnesota Lynx for Diamond Miller, Carly Samuelson, who is out for the season, and Minnesota's 2027 second-round pick. To complete the trade, they also waived Tierra McCowan, and this comes just weeks after trading Nalissa Smith to the Aces. So Dallas kind of seems to be in full tank mode, though I do think that Diamond Miller is a great pickup for them. But on the other hand, the Lynx got a seasoned vet known for energy and defense. She was WNBA All-Defensive First Team last year and Most Improved Player. But I really think Cheryl Reeve can bring the best out of her. With that said, how does she come in and help an already stacked Lynx team?
Mhm. Look, so much of this league is about fit. It is about fit. And I like Dijonai's fit with a championship contending team like the Minnesota Lynx more than I ever liked her fit in Dallas. And I'm a big Dijonai fan. That's my little sis. She started at Stanford, like, always looking out for her. I think she has a lot more room to grow and continue to improve, even though she's already won Most Improved. I think there's more to go. And I think on a team like Minnesota, there's a really big role for her that she can star in and shine in. And I feel like in Dallas, there was less support and structure, and they really needed consistent, a lot of production out of her or whoever else they could get it from. And I say this in the most respectful, loving way possible. Again, I think instead of it being like, I need you to, be one of our most productive players, I think she can really be great in a role. I see her with Minnesota, a team that's already the top defense, but I could see her utilizing her strength, her size, her quickness, her tenacity, her toughness. If there was a finals rematch, can you imagine her and Sabrina Ionescu causing her havoc, being all up in her shorts? I could see Dijonai with the Lynx really flourishing off of defense creating offense, a steal into a fast break layup, or in the half court set, all those shooters, a couple of swings, the defense is scrambling, and then Dijonai can attack in a straight line, or off of a pass out from Nafisa Collier when she's healthy, and after all the defense has collapsed on Fee. Now, I've seen a couple of questions that are valid about Dijonai's fit in Minnesota's offense. And to address those, the questions are, look, the Lynx are also the top offense right now in the WNBA. They make the most threes. They shoot the best 3-point percentage. They have the most assists, and they don't turn it over a lot. They have the best assist to turnover ratio. They have spacing. They make threes. They don't make mistakes. On the other hand, if you look at Dijonai over the course of her career, she's historically not a great 3-point shooter, 28% from 3. Over the last 2 seasons, closer to 25. Over her career, she has more turnovers than assists. And like the offensive side of the ball is always where she's had to continue to evolve and grow. why I'm not worried about that is because Cheryl Reeve. So Cheryl Reeve has a reputation of, taking a player that was disregarded, underutilized, slept on at another franchise and bringing the best and most out of them under her tutelage and coaching. You look at Courtney Williams. You look at Alana Smith. They were in Chicago. They come over here. They're having a career renaissance. Same thing for Kayla McBride. In Minnesota now, you got all of these players being talked about for end of season awards, for all-star awards. These were players that were disregarded. And so I think that Cheryl is the right, respected, strong voice to help mold and bring the best out of Dijonai Carrington.
I also think it's exactly what she needed, given you've been able to kind of observe her body language and reactions to Chris Koklanis, and it was just not her vibe whatsoever. And that is a very much vibe system where she now has so much more structure. Now, I actually want to flip it to the Wings, though. With all of their moves and what they've been doing, do you think this was a good move for them, or is it time to actually start questioning what's going on there and with their front office?
Well, I think actually there's a lot of good moves there as they're clearly planning for the future. And I think Diamond Miller fits the youth, movement and the timeline that's happening over in Dallas. Diamond actually, now that she's healthy, was having a solid year. And this might be a better home for her to continue the next chapter and, be the best version of self. But, you think about all of the young players there. And, there's a lot to be excited about that rookie group. Like, it makes sense for what they're doing as they prepare for the future.
Especially given the draft picks that are coming in as well. I feel like it's a 2-3 year vision type of thing, and people just need to understand the vision. If Kurt and Chris hold on still as GM and head coach, when it gets there, they'll be like, guys, we told you it was going to happen. You just had to have patience. And it might be really hard for some people and or Dallas Wings fans to understand because their team is doing abysmal in a sense, but I feel like it's definitely going to pay off in the future.
Yeah, and I also think too, it was just like a tough fit. There were, more veteran players that seemed a little bit disgruntled with their role. It's unfortunate to see Tierra McCowan had to get waived as part of this deal, but it just wasn't working there for her this season. There's certainly teams that could use more size. It'll be interesting to see if she gets picked up and where. But it's hard. Usually when you pick a number one draft pick, like, it's because the franchise has been struggling, and Dallas has been for a while. They've been in disarray for years. A number of coaches, cultures, identities have come in and out of that organization. And I think right now they're just trying to stabilize. They recognize they have a bona fide winner in Paige Beckers, and they're going to continue to build around her. And there's a lot of pieces that, may still continue to be a part of this future as they build out, those young players, whether it's Azaya or JJ, have been really impressive.
Well, y'all, coming up, I make my DraftKings pick of the week. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Good Follow. Today's episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. It is now time for the DraftKings Pick of the Week presented by DraftKings. It is rivalry week in the NWSL, and I have my eyes on one of the best in the league, Angel City versus San Diego Wave. Angel City has had a roller coaster of a season and are in need of a big win after losing 5 of their past 6 matches. With that said, rookie forward Riley Tiernan has been holding this team in it, scoring 7 goals in 14 matches, and is currently sitting 4th in the Golden Boot race. As for San Diego, they've quite literally been riding the wave, 1 point back from being tied for 2nd in the standings. My player to watch here is Delphine Cascarino, who has 3 goals this season and leads the league in assists with 5. This rivalry is always a close one, with 4 of their past 5 matchups ending in a draw, but I'm going with San Diego to get their first win over Angel City. This segment is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
The crown is yours, Logan. It's also everyone watching. The crown is for you as well, or listening. We salute you. Logan, it's that part of the show where you take us through news headlines. What's the latest going on right now?
Yes, we have some fun ones this week. Taurasi drops this Thursday, which is Diana Taurasi's new 3-part docuseries dropping on Amazon Prime. Let's watch the trailer real quick.
Diana Taurasi.
The biggest moments are her best. She's the best to ever do it.
I've pushed myself in ways I didn't think I could be pushed.
She was one of the players I really grew up idolizing.
Just as the doors open for this league, Diana will be riding into the sunset. Sometimes I wonder if that's haunting.
Have you thought about what's next?
Ladies and gentlemen, Diana Taurasi! To be continued.
Obsessed.
I
Ros, how
will
excited.
be sat. I will be sat. Oh my gosh. I actually have a sister's trip coming up this week. And I think that is perfect documentary style watching for us to absorb and enjoy together. I just am ready to dive in and kind of maybe get to know other sides and get in the mindset of one of the greatest players of a generation, one of the most competitive, one of the most successful, certainly for many people, arguably the GOAT of the women's game. And just another way to experience and celebrate and cherish and absorb some more Diana Taurasi. We're not seeing DT on the court anymore now that she's retired. So I'd love to see more.
I cannot wait for this, especially because I feel like I saw her at the back end of her career. So being able to kind of experience the front end of it is going to be so exciting. But on the topic of GOATs, pretty much the DT equivalent in women's soccer is Marta. And she is remaining the GOAT. She literally came out of retirement to come absolutely clutch for Brazil, scoring 2 super late goals to hold them in the game against Colombia. And they won their 9th Copa America title. So congrats to them. And Marta, absolutely GOATed.
We're only doing GOAT talk right now. It's from one GOAT to another GOAT.
And future GOAT, Trinity Rodman, made her comeback by scoring a game-winning goal. Absolutely insane. She was in tears after it. I was almost in tears. Probably the whole stadium was almost in tears, but it was her first game back from injury in 4 months. So absolutely huge for her.
Really touching and inspiring stuff.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, wait, this is actually all GOAT talk. Another future GOAT, or in Canada, she's being referred to as a future GOAT. Victoria Mboko defeated Coco Gauff in Toronto. She's the youngest Canadian to reach the semifinal of a 1,000 tournament. She did it on home soil. And she is being touted as the next Serena and Coco Gauff. So good for her. Go Canada.
This is the GOATed quick hits right now. We should have branded it that way.
Right? Last GOAT, Katie Ledecky. She won her 7th 800-meter gold medal. I'm pretty sure she's undefeated since going in the pool to swim that 800-meter. But I honestly can't believe it. I forget the exact number of world championship medals, but she just surpassed Michael Phelps.
I think that's the sound a goat makes. I don't know.
Is that a lamb?
Mersey had a little lamb. No, I don't know. I don't know animal sounds, honestly, but I do know a goat when I see him, and that was a very goated quick hits. And I see a baby future goat in you, Logan. It's always cool to kick it with you. Yes,
From one
absolutely.
baby goat to another.
And to all of our goated fans, thank you for tapping in, for watching. Tell a friend, share something. If you like something, share it. Let's get out there and make this thing bigger. We appreciate you pulling up to Good Follow. It's presented by DraftKings. You can get it anywhere you get your podcast. We drop 2 times a week, Tuesday and Thursdays, and we'd love to see you there.